सर्वेषां च सर्वेषां नास्ति तत्त्वं गुरुपरः आसनं शयनं वस्त्रं भूषणं वा नादिकम् साधकेन प्रदातव्यं गुरुसन्तोषकारकम् गुरुराराधनं कार्यं स्वजीवितं निवेदयेत् कर्मणा मनसा वाचा नित्यमाराधयेत् गुरुं दीर्घदण्डं नमस्कृत्य निर्लज्जो शरीरमिन्द्रियं प्राणं सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदयेत् आत्मनाहितं सर्वं सद्गुरुभ्यो निवेदयेत् निमित्तमस्मदिष्टां गुरुर्निर्मलं मूत्रकान् श्लेष्मरक्तं च संहंसन् पञ्चयेनोपराजने संसारवृक्षमारूढा अतन्तो नरकर्णवेः येन चेवोदिता सर्वे तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः वेदवेदगतामेव संसारनाथसेतवे प्रभवे सर्वविद्यानां सम्भवे गुरुवे नमः अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानकलनाशलाकयः चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः संविदात्वं च मे माता ब्रह्मनिष्ठं च देवता संसारार्थं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यत्सत्येन जगत्सत्यं यत्प्रकाशेन भातितः यदानन्देन नन्दन्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य सिद्ध्या सत्यमिदं यपरिमानुरूपतः प्रियं मुद्रादियद्विद्या तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः येन चेतायते हीनं चित्तं चेतायते नयः जगत्स्वप्नसुषुप्त्यानि तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य ज्ञानादिदं विश्वं न दृश्यं दीनवेदसः तदेकरूपरुद्राय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य मतं तस्य मतं मतं यस्य न वेदसः अनन्यभावभावाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य कारणरूपस्य कार्यरूपेण भातिया कार्यकारणरूपाय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः नानारूपमिदं सर्वं न केनाप्यस्ति भिन्नतः कार्यकारणवाचैव तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यदङ्घ्रिकमलद्वन्द्वं द्वन्द्वतापाणिबालकं तारकं सर्वदा पद्य श्रीगुरुं नमाम्यहम् शिवे कुन्दे गुरुस्ताता गुरुकृते शिवो नहि तस्मात् सर्वभयमुक्तं श्रीगुरुं शरणं व्रजे वन्दे गुरुपरद्वन्द्वं मनश्चित्तगोचरः श्वेतरक्तप्रदामीनां शिवशब्दमकम्परम् दुःखरं च गुणातीतं दुःखरं दुःखवर्जितं गुणातीतस्वरूपं च योगज्ञं स गुरुस्मृतः आदिनेत्र सर्वसाक्षी अचतुर्बाहुरच्युतः अचतुर्बाहुः Sarvajnana Pashyanti Andasuryodayam Yatha Srinatha Charanardvangam Yasami Shri Virajate Tasye Dishe Namasurya Bhakya Pratidinam Priye Tasye Dishe Satadamanjale Sahade Rakshipyate Mukharito Madhupe Pudeshta Jagadiyatra Bhagavan Guru Chakravarti Vishwadaya Prayajana Kakanitya Sakshi Srimati Guru Trayam Ganapati Ekatrayam Devam Sritokam Bhaktatrayam Parayukam Yutikam Mandavam Virangashtatakosasasrinavakam Viravadi Panchakam Sriman Malini Mantrarajasaritam Vande Guru Mandalam Adyaste Sakale Sudirgamanile Yage Prade Dushkare Dhanaya Masate Rame Kakarame Dukkha Mate Dushri Yasinavyudite Vinachati Bali Vayo Swayam Kashana Rakum Tatsajam Swapadamisham Sevamagame Kanduru Hare Svaseva Sharira Chintanam Bhave Dharmakasa Shivasa Chintanam Swadevi Svaseva Svanama Kirtanam Bhave Dharmakasa Shivasa Kirtanam Appareru Manikam Papi Sansara Varide Setu Gandhaya Tenantam Deshikam Kamavasmare Yasmadanograham Latva Maharajanam Utsute Asme Shri Shivendraya Namaskami Satsittaye Bhagavatam Sarva Samsaram Pavanala Vinashanam Brahmaratre Sukam Boja Madhyastam Chandra Mandale Avatani Trilekante Sahasrara Mandale Ansapashva Trikone Saha Sare Kanmaya Tanguram Sakala Bhuvana Srishti Kalpita Shesha Pushti Nirangama Drishti Sampadam Vyartha Drishti Agavura Parimarshi Tatparandeka Drishti Bhavaguna Parameshti Moksha Margeka Drishti Sakala Bhuvana Ranga Sapana Samvayasti Sakala Drishti Tattvamala Samasti Sakala Samaya Drishti Satchidananda Drishti Nirvasatu Mai Nityam Shri Guru सर्वमानन्दमव्ययम् श्रुतिप्रत्यक्षमैत्रेयम् अनुमानस्तुतिस्तुत्यम् यस्य कर्मतपो वेदात् देशिकं च सरस्वते मननन्य भवत्कार्यं तत्परमे महामते सर्वं च मया दृष्टं त्वयि दृष्टाति सम्प्रदाम् अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तमेन चराचरम् तत्परं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्नं विराजितापदं पुरा वेदमहोदसूर्यो यस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः यस्य स्मरणमात्रेण ज्ञानमुत्पद्यते स्वयं तदेव सर्वसम्प्राप्तिः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः चैतन्यं शाश्वतं शान्तं व्योमातीतं निरञ्जनं नारविन्दोपलातीतं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः स्थावरं जलमं चैव तथा चैवाचराचरं व्याप्तं येन जगत् सर्वं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमालाविभूषितः मुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाताय तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः अनेकजन्मसम्प्राप्तः सर्वकर्मविधायिने स्वात्मज्ञानप्रभावेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानपरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मनः श्रीजगन्नाथो मद्गुरुः श्रीजगद्गुरुः महात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः ज्ञानमूलं गुरुमूर्तिः पूजामूलं गुरोपरः मन्त्रमूलं गुरोवाक्यं मोक्षमूलं गुरोकृपा गुरुरादिरनारीश्वर गुरुपरमदेवता गुरुकारा Nirakaram Niranjanam Nityaboram Shivanandam Guru Brahmanamamyam Yudam Bhuje Pranipamade Samse Srivasane Samsiddhamurti Jaye Gurun Chandra Kala Prakasham Chipushapabhishtabaram Dadanam Shvetambaram Shvetavivekam Pushpam Muktavidusham Vinitham Vinekam Brahman Katitya Siddhidivya Shakti Mandasmitam Sandrakapanivanam Anandamaranandakaram Prasanam Jnanasarupam Nijatorayukam Yogindramnityam Avarogavedyam Srimad-Gurun Nityamaham Namami Yasvishishishishvamsa Nigranugramakam Nityam Panchaviram Shastrat Vasavetam Namamyam Tatashira Shisutvate Nirikam Vibhujam Guru Parabhaya Yugam Shantam Harekam Nama Purvakam Naguru Radhikam Naguru Radhikam Naguru Radhikam Naguru Radhikam Shiva Shasanata Shiva Shasanata Shiva Shasanata Shiva Shasanata Tirameva Shivam Tirameva Shivam Tirameva Shivam Tirameva Shivam Mama Shasanato Mama Shasanato Mama Shasanato Mama Shasanato Evam Vidam Gurum Yatva Jnanamupadyate Swayam Atsad-Guru Prasadena Mukto Amriti Bhavaye Guru Darshita Margena Manasudita Pare Anityam Kandaye Sarvam Yakichita Magocharam Niyam Sarva Sarvamsha Jnanam Sarvana Uchate Jnanameya Samam Puryan Nandya Patta Vidyaka Evam Shiva Mahadevi Guruvindam Karotiyam Sayati Naratam Gauram Yava Chandra Divakaro Yava Kalpan Jago Deha Savadeva Gurum Sre Yoga Paramarkaya Sachandaya Vibhavame Omkarena Navaktavyam Brahmeshe Shekakansanam Yogagrena Vaktavyam Asavyam Shakarachanam Gurum Tvam Krityam Krityam Gurum Nirjityavatva Aranye Nirvavedeshe Sabhave Brahma Rakshasa Nirvanagir Bhakti Surva Shakti Toyati Alam Mrityu Dayat Bhakti Guru Rakshati Parvati Ashantai to Mahadeva, Param Samudaritam, Rupaditam Charulampi, Vedaganya Shankara. Shri Mahadeva Uvacha, Nindam Kundalini Shakti, Paramam Samudaritam, Rupam Ninduritam, Rupakitam Niranjanam, Ninde Mukta Pare Mukta, Tutte Mukta Varanane, Rupachite Vine Mukta, Te Mukta Natra Samshaya, Swayam Sarvam Mayo Buddha, Param Dharmam Vilokaye, Parapara Param Nanyam, Sarvamekam Niralayam, Tasya Alokanam Rapya, Sarvasanga Vivardita, Ekapinishvara Shantas, Visateka Prasadaka, Radamba Janadamba, Sarvabhava Bahulantata, Vishkamena Bhoktanyam, Sada Santushate Tata, Sarvagya Paramidhyahur, Devi Sarvam Mayobuddha, Sadananda Sarashanta, Yamateya Praputrati, Yadevati Sate Sauki, Sadesha Punya Bhajana, Mukta Shalakshana Devi, Kavadeva Nitammaya, Upadesha Sata Devi, Guru Magena Muktida, Guru Bhakti Sata Nirana, Sakalam Tavakirtita, Anelaya Bhave Karyam, Tavarami Mahamate, Lokapakarakam Devi, Lokikam Tuna Bhavaye, Lokika Karmano Yanti, Yanahina Bhavarnavam, Yani Rupa Vaye Sarvam, Karmani Sarmayatritam, Idam Durvaki Bhavena, Patate Sunte Yapine, Vikipata Pravaktavyan, Atsarvam Safanam Bhave, Guru Gita Matam Devi, Surakarnam Nayolitam, Bhavavyari Vinashartam, Swayameva Jate Sada, Guru Gita Charitam Tu, Mantrarajami Manjate, Anye Cha Vidiramancha, Alanharanti Sorasi, Ananta Palamanoti, Guru Gita Japena Kuru, Sarva Papa Prashamana, Sarva Dharmi Vinashana, Sarva Mrityu Bhayaran, Sarva Sankara Nashana, Yaksha Raksha Bhutanam, Chora Vyaka Bhayaparam, Mahavyari Aram Sarvam, Vibhuti Siddhidam Bhave, Atavamo Aram Vasham, Swayameva Jate Sada, Vashasani Chadaritram, Vashani Roga Santapam, Nevinyam Uttamam Noti, Nasti Bhavati Nishpalam, Krishnani Jnana Siddhi, Mokshasi Vyakracharmani, Pushasani Jnana Siddhi, Sarva Siddhi Sukham Bale, Pushevadurvaya Devi, Asane Shubhrakam Bale, Upavisha Tato Devi, Jate Dekam Manasam, Yeyam Shukram Chasavyartam, Vakshivarkasanam Priye, Avichare Krishna Varnam, Vita Varnam Danagane, Uttare Shantikamastu, Vakshipurvam Kotape, Vakshine karma siddham bhavet. Asidam sadhaye karyam navagrahavayapaham dusvatmanashanam cheva dusvatmanavadayakam sarvashantikam nityam bhavanyasaputram avedavyankaram sriman saubhagyadayakam sada ayuvaryogamishwaryam putraputrapavardanam akamata srivyavah akamoksamavapnuyat avedavyan sakamatu lavate chanyajanmani sarvadukkhayam vignam nasaye sapaharakam sarvabhada prasamanam dharmakarkamamokshadam yam yam siddhayate kaman tam tam prapnoti nishitam kamikasya kamadenu kalpana kalpaparvaha siddhamani siddhikasya sarvamangalakarkam moksha heturjate nityam moksha sriyam bhakniyat yogatamo jate yode tasya kama phalapradam jate chata sasurasya vanapadyasya vaishnavaha seva shasiridam devi satyam satyam na samshaya Atamanya jate sanam Tattayami varanane Sagareva saritire Attavare agavayate Shakti devalaye goshe Sarvadevalaye sute Vate tada vinduleva Mate vrindavane tata Avitre nirmale stane Nityanusthana kopiva Nirvidane namonena Nakamekam samachare Ashrayeva yavumautu Arthamulam chikekata Siddhyanti yodare mule Sutta vrisha sasaniro Guru putro varam murtas Tasya siddhanti nakyatam Shiva karmani sarvani Dikshavrata tapansita Samsaramalana shartam Bhavapashani vittaye Guru Geetam vasisnanam Advanya kurte salam Jai vacha guru sakshat Sada satyam avitamah Tasya sthanani sarvani Jaitvamina samshaya Sarva shuddha pavitrosa Sadhavadyatra tishtati Tatra deva gana sarve Shikre kite vasanti Asanasta shayanoga Darsanti sarvaranati Ashnaruta vajaruta Sutto vajagato piva Srisman sasanadhyani Guru gita japena tu Asya darshana matrena Punarjamana vidyate Samudre chayata toyam Shire shiram vrite gatam Vinde kumbe yatakasha Dharma paramatmani Devajnaniti Bharma Paramamani Niyate Aikyanarahate Jnane Tatra Tatra Vimanisham Devandiro Mahamukta Sarvara Vartate Buddha Tasya Sarva Tayanena Avavakti Karotiya Sarva Sande Alaito Mukta Bhavati Parvati Guru Nityanandaya Gurave Shishta Samsara Harine Bhaktakarye Kadehaya Namaste Chitsalatmane Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti 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 Sadhguru Maharaj Ki Jai.
Welcome to this morning's Satsang program here at Shanti Mandir. And those mantras were also a welcome to the program here and the time we're going to spend here together. And welcome to the people who are out there live streaming, wherever you may happen to be. So welcome all. And I think it's appropriate. We're going into that season, isn't it? The season where you are welcomed, you are remembered, you have gratitude, all of those wonderful, actually very spiritual qualities and elements. So, I thought to myself, what are you going to talk about? Because last week when Devyani introduced it, she said, I'm not sure what he's going to talk about. And I thought to myself, my feelings exactly. But what came to me was, we're coming to that time of year, the year is winding up. And so one thought came to me was, so what's happened? Within our universe and world of Shanti Mandir, of meditation, of all of that, what has happened, as well as what has happened out in other spaces. And I know we have some special guests here today. Mimi has brought her group of yoga practitioners, young and old, new and experienced. And so there's that element. So how to speak to all the various elements. So I'm just pulling you into my dilemma. But I think when I thought about that, what's it all about? So there's what has happened in this past year. We've had courses. Gurudev has spent almost 5 months, I guess, if you wrap it all together in 2 chunks, and just so much activity. We had Navaratri, we've had all sorts of special honorings and remembrances of, and full moons, and so many different things. And I thought, there's a thread that runs through everything that happens here. The thread of the year on the surface has been the study of Spanda. And then Spanda are an ancient scripture, which actually are commentary on another ancient scripture. So it can get quite entailed. But I thought, whatever we do, whatever we practice, it still comes back to that thread. And what is that thread? And the thread to me is meditation. And then I go back to the thread of Baba Muktananda coming to the West in the early 70s. And when he was asked, why have you come? Because for the first time he had left India and he was in his 60s. What have you come to do? To teach? And in his typical straightforward fashion, he said, I've come to create a meditation revolution. And the reporters and interviewers are like, oh, okay. And I've talked about this, and we've talked, and it's been a thing that in those days a lot of people didn't know about meditation, hadn't even heard of it, or yoga. I tease sometimes and I say that in those days, as often if you said yoga, people thought you were talking about yogurt, not yoga. And look how far we've come. Every street corner, people are practicing yoga. People are talking, not only are people meditating, they're talking about the incredible benefits of meditation. Even the medical community, even scientists, now they're doing experiments. So I'm looking at all of this, and so I thought the thread is meditation. And the way Baba Muktananda talked about it was down to earth, so that people could relate to it. So when they said, well, what is this meditation? Is it an Indian thing? Is it an Eastern thing? Is it a whatever thing? And Baba Muktananda would simply say, it's your thing. And people, oh, what do you mean by that? He said, well, do you sleep at the end of the day? Well, of course. And is there Hindu sleep, Muslim sleep, Jewish sleep, Christian sleep? Of course not. He said, well, meditation is like that. It is just one step beyond deep sleep. And therefore, the practice of meditation is something everyone can do. And you don't have to change whatever your religious beliefs or practices are. That's fine. Maintain those. But like you don't give up sleep, add meditation. Go just that little bit deeper. So in a simple, straightforward way, that's what we do here. That's what this is about. This is a continuation of what he came to teach. Now, when you hear something like Shiva Sutras, Spanda or even those opening mantras, or coming to chant the Guru Gita, or all of those things, then the mind gets like, whoa, what does that have to do with meditation? Well, in order to practice, to become still enough to go beyond sleep and meditation, as the current head of the tradition would say, Swami Nityananda, he would say, just sit. Just become still. And some of the practitioners of yoga that have come up for the weekend was, I guess you could say they were schooling me when they said, oh, I can sit. I can just sit. And when I do that, I go deep. And I thought, there it is. If you can just sit and go deep, then you go into a state of meditation. If you can't, then you need some tools and techniques to help. And when you think about it, if you just pare it all down, that's what all these different things are about, to help us go into that state of meditation. And it can seem complicated, complex at times, but it actually isn't. So, what are the things, let's look at it from another perspective, what are the things that prevent us from being able to go into that state of meditation? And if we look at a particular scripture, technique, ancient, which is really the text on meditation and yoga, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, and I'm sure all of your yoga practitioners have read it. If not, read it. Because it really is. I mean, I laugh and I smile when I say that, but it is the text, ancient text on yoga and meditation. And it says, basically, making it really simple, yoga is that which happens when you still the mind. Yoga is that which happens when the mind becomes still. Again, when you go into the essence of it, it's all very simple, isn't it? But then it goes on to say, otherwise, we identify with all of the activity of the mind. And that word identify is critical. We think we are our thoughts. Can anybody disagree with that? No, not normally. We tend to go with our thoughts. And that becomes the problem. So how do we solve, as it were, that problem? If you're a person who can just sit and let it happen, no problem. But if not, then there are things that can be done. There's 2 or 3 or 4, or maybe 5 or 6 or 7, because there's 190-something sutras explaining all of this. And so it's useful to go back to the beginning and realize that's it. So what was the meditation revolution that Muktananda was talking about? The revolution was not out here like we normally think of a revolution. The revolution was in here, with how we think, first of all, and particularly how we think about who we are. He came to create that revolution, which really, when you think about it, rather than identifying with all of our thoughts, all of our emotions, all of those things that happen, identify with something else. And so then he went on, and he said, God dwells within you as you. Whoa, where did that come from? Your God, your truth, who you are, dwells within you as you. And if you connect that to what the sutras and all of the philosophy about yoga and meditation is saying, it's the same thing. They're saying if you could just become quiet and still, you would realize the truth of what he was saying. And so therefore he said, practice meditation. Get all the benefits. And now we know there's so many benefits to meditation. Even if you don't want to take it as a spiritual practice, that's okay. We know it relieves stress. We know it lowers blood pressure, heart rate. It just is so good. It literally transforms the brain. These kinds of things have been scientifically proven. So the power of meditation is just incredible. And so you can see, if you look at it from that perspective, meditation itself is a revolution. It revolutionizes the way we think about who we are and what we are. How much more of a revolution can you get than that? And it's enough of a revolution that here we are, 40, 50 years later, still doing it. And then there's the things that help. You know, as we were chanting, and the drums were playing, and the harmonium was going on, did you feel anything? Yeah, possibly. And that's why it's done. Because you feel the throb, the spanda of the energy which really is a part of and the essence of our inner being. And so that's why we do those things. We do it because of the experience that it gives us and how it moves us away from all of those disturbing, often, not always, thoughts that we can be having. And how it keeps us from being able to just become still for a little bit. So I was thinking of some of the things that I would share in all of this. And so bear with me, come with me, if you will. Go with yourself and trying to understand. And what I mean by that is just grab a thread. Just grab a thread, something that you say, that's important to me. That, in terms of yoga, in terms of meditation, I can relate to that. So whatever that thread is, grab it, and let's see if we can follow it as we go along. So for me, one of the things that came up, and I've got these sheets of paper here, was just dipping in quickly. When I first went to college, I majored in physics. Long story short, it wasn't a good idea. You know how that works, right? But another point of view, I love physics. I love physics from the point of view of, because we need to be clear about what I love. I love physics from the point of view of it's about what is all of this about, isn't it? That's the essence of it. And in high school, when I took a physics course, and I go, oh, this is cool. That's what I liked. Not the math, not all of that stuff. No. I actually didn't want to be a scientist, but I love finding out, understanding how it all worked, which is why we study scriptures, to understand. Well, so, okay, I sit and I meditate and I have this experience and this goes on. How does all of that work? So when you pick up a scripture, the Yoga Sutras, Spanda, it's saying this is how it works. You want to know more to help you get deeper into meditation, you need to understand it helps to know how it works. And from that physics point of view, I still dip into it and read things and what have you. And I saw a little thing online, but how many people have heard of Neil deGrasse Tyson? Yeah, he's got a bit of a name for himself. He has an interesting way of putting it. But one of his phrases, when he was talking about quantum physics, he said, look, it all boils down to the fact that it's all connected. It's all connected, and connection is everything. And I thought, wow, there it is. It's a sutra, because that's what we want to experience, the fact that it is all connected. And connection is everything. And so when we meditate, when we become still, we start to have more of that experience. We start to feel more of those connections. Even in our lives, what we do is we have experiences, we meet people, we see things, and if we can hold on to that thread, we start to see connection, not so much disconnection. Yet all of that's going on too. But within all of that, there is a connection. And the choice is ours. Which do we want to experience? Disconnection or connection? And from the point of view of, how would I put it? Truth, as it's laid out in those scriptures and texts that I'm mentioning as we go along, they're saying this is actually how it works. And these are ancient texts. They didn't come up, even though Neil deGrasse is saying that, and it's good. Scientists are doing great work, but it's new. Yoga scriptures are really ancient. They go back thousands of years. And sometimes when you read the discoveries of science and you also understand something about the yoga scriptures, you see those connections. You go, oh, that's what's being said. And that's what they're understanding about how it all works. And then you start to have a more firm faith in that's how it works. And scientists are starting to see certain elements of it. And it's a lovely thing when they come together. And I'll just share with you something from this commentary on the Spanda by Umesh and Chitra. But there's an introduction by Gurudev, Swami Nityananda, which is interesting. He says, and he just picks out one of the karikas in there to focus on. And he says, in that independent Spanda tattva, or principle, tattva is just a principle, there exists neither the state of sorrow nor joy. It is beyond the external measurements of word, touch, form, taste, and smell. So, at a very simple level, what is he saying? He's saying, you can go beyond all the ripples of this world, be they mental ripples, be they energy, be they quantum particles. It is possible to go beyond those, okay? So it's na dukkam, na sukham, neither pain nor pleasure. And then he goes on to say, the Spanda Tattva does not lack the ability to make any object the subject of its knowledge. So that Spanda energy can know anything. It can focus on anything and understand at a deeper level. But, and he says further, this tattva is always present in the external form. I had a friend in college, still a friend, but we met in college, and he was a very interesting young man. He was quite small. In fact, his nickname was Mouse. And but we always said, but he's got the biggest brain. You know, he was majoring in medicine. And we used to always laugh and joke because, you know, typical college students would go out at night, especially on the weekend, reveling. But this group that somehow or another I got connected to, connection, synchronicity, was really about trying to find out how it all works. But there we are, out, drink, smoke, whatever you do. We'd come back, you know, 2, 3 in the morning, and you know, you felt like at that point in time. And he says, okay, I got to do some studying. Dude, what did you say? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, he said, no, I got to do some studying. And he would study for 2 or 3 hours. I mean, he's a doctor now. You know, this is his intention, his focus. But one of the things I was talking to him recently, he said, I did it because that's what I wanted to do. I was really passionate about becoming a doctor. He said, but I was also passionate about understanding. He said, our group was great because we weren't just into partying. We were trying to find out, how does all of this work? What's it all about? And we would be trying to talk about reality, the nature of this. And he said, I didn't want to miss that. But I didn't want to miss my study about physiology in the body. And I thought this thought, and you tell me what you think. I thought, isn't it interesting? The body works perfectly. But do you, I know I can speak for myself, do I understand how it all works? No. But does that prevent it from working properly? No. And so if you think about scriptural study, it's like that. This universe works the way it is. And there were people, sages, who understood that. And they put it in his book. They said, this is what's going on. Now you can read it, you can look at it, you can study it, or not. It's still how it works. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting way of thinking. He said, so I want to understand, if I'm going to be a doctor, I need to know how this body works so that I can help people. And you think, sages, gurus, that's exactly what they do. They say, this is how it works. If you want to meditate, if you want to do yoga, you need to know how it works, and I can help. And I thought, it's a really interesting way of thinking about it. And whether you study, learn, or not, it's still how it works. So Spandakarakas can be like, you know, you might look at it and go, look at that. Yeah. That's one of the smaller texts. Anyway, but you take one of the sutras like Gurudev's doing here, and he's saying, yes, this is what it's about. But he said, he added this to it, that understanding. He says, this Spanda Shakti, Shakti is another word quantum physicists can sort of relate to because it's about energy, but spiritual energy. He said it pervades each atom of the universe. It pervades each atom, and quantum physics is about that, even smaller than atoms, particles. And then he goes on to say, but the Spanda is so subtle that only those Siddha yogis, practitioners of yoga, who have received awakening, or what we call Shaktipat, from a guru, and are situated in the highest state, expanded state, through sadhana, through the practice, can experience it. In this way, without that, this tattva can be called indescribable, difficult. So more difficult than, what would I say, more difficult than studying physics and not really so good with the math. That difficulty, that's a difficulty. He's saying, without an awakening, an inner awakening, it's difficult to understand these teachings. And therefore we could say it's indescribable. And so you can understand the challenge that science has to try to describe all of this, because they're doing it with, quite brilliant advanced instruments, but still. Gurudev goes on to say, my revered Gurudev Baba Muktananda, the one who created the revolution, believed the Spanda Shastra to be completely scientific and would even discuss it with modern scientists. He would say, you and I are doing the same thing with these scientists. He said, we're studying the same thing, but we yogis want the experience of that spanda, of that pulsation, of that divine pulsation. We don't want to just step back and separate ourselves from it. We want to experience it. So, Gurudev goes on to say, it is my desire that the modern scientists study this scripture, integrate it into their practice, and work for the welfare of the universe through the philosophy of the supreme principle. So when you start to pull all of that together, this is the path, the track, I don't know what you want to call it, that we're walking on. And it's not a new thing, it's an ancient tradition. But the great thing about this ancient tradition is here now in this time, we can all walk on it. I'm going to share something from, it's all, we've got technology now. It's not the ancient, but it's incorporated. And it can help us understand something. So I want to share, if I can. There's different ways of looking at it. There's a long-time practitioner of this path and tradition of meditation, becoming calm and still. And he describes it this way, in a kind of tongue-in-cheek, poetic way. To catch the mind and keep it still is no small problem for my porous will. As many times as I shut it down, unceasing thoughts on me rebound. In youth, I tried through alcohol to ease my stress and cool my gall. In later years, I turned to grass. The effects were good, but did not last. At last, with failing hopes, I turned to eastern paths, and my soul yearned to scale the mystic heights of bliss. Alas, no easy method this. And now, with age and turmoil weary, all that's left me is this query. Will heart break or mind implode before my vrittis do nerode? There's so much in that, isn't there? It's a tongue-in-cheek way of looking at the journey. You try this, you try that, without even knowing it. Like, way back in our days at University of Michigan, we've had a connection, trying to answer that question. What is this all about? Who am I really? What is the nature of reality? And if that's really a compelling question, you stay with it. Through the ups, through the downs, through the sideways, whatever. In some way, you stay with it. Because it's important. Because it means something to you. Because you know, the only way I'm really going to find that ultimate satisfaction is by answering this question. And what the yogis tell us is that, and the answer, the only answer is within us. The answer is in here. And you have to do something to find that answer in here. You can read all of that, it helps. But ultimately it's about, so then what do we practice? So here's another one. Because there are all sorts of challenges on the path. Didn't have time to print all this out, but in the Yoga Sutras, the one that all of you are going to read that are practicing yoga, there's a sutra which I think is really important. There's all of these techniques and practices for ourselves, but how do we deal with everything that's going on? Because the world doesn't stop because we say, I want to know the truth. And somebody hits the pause button, in the universe, and we can do that. No. It's all still going on, and we're interacting with people. So, in talking about the mind, one of the sutras, the 33rd in fact, says, the mind becomes purified by the cultivation of feelings of enmity, compassion, goodwill, and indifference respectively towards these kind of people. Happy, miserable, virtuous, and sinful. Ooh. So, commentary says, of these different kinds of people, a spirit of friendliness should be entertained towards those who have experienced happiness. So be happy for someone else's happiness. Don't, be jealous or whatever other reactions we can have. And then it says, a spirit of compassion towards those who are in distress. The Buddhists are big on this. And then a spirit of goodwill towards those who are teaching the path of virtue and treading it as well. And a spirit of, qualifying point here, a spirit of benevolent indifference towards those who are steeped in vice by overlooking their faults. So if you think about the different kinds of people that we interact with, run into, this is what it's saying. If you want to keep your peace, this is a way of dealing with it. When people are happy, you be happy and friendly. When those are feeling difficulty and are in distress, compassion or warmth, an understanding. And for those who are on the path, treading the path of virtue, goodwill, yes, encouragement. And perhaps the most difficult, for those who are steeped in vice, sinful, angry, whatever it is, we'll always run into those. A benevolent indifference. A benevolent indifference. So it's not a mean indifference. And by overlooking those faults, one of the, again, kind of images that came to me was like, if we're on a path, on a track, going forward, and, we're doing our best, we're out there, but there's a lot of people on this path. Baba Muktananda has a book, it's a series of his talks and presentations, Where Are You Going? It's great. And it's like, you see these people on the path. And everybody's not at the same point on the path. And so, if we think about that, particularly there's people out front, so there's goodwill. Fantastic, keep going, There's people with us, oh yeah. We have a Sangha, we're in this together. And there's people back here who may not have or are manifesting the best qualities, let's just say. What's the attitude? Well, a few ways of thinking about it. One way is to think, they're on the path. They don't even know it, perhaps, by the way. That's another point. But the scriptures are saying, everybody is on the path. Everybody is on the path. And if they're so far back, they may not even know they're on the path. But they're still on the path. and they may be taking lots of detours going this way. What is the best attitude to have towards those people? Is it to be critical? Encouraging. Thank you. Oh. Encouraging. Or it may be, because they may be so far back, we just need to be indifferent. Because we don't want to be pulled into that. But we don't want to be critical. Baba Muktananda was very big on that. Whenever someone would come with a complaint about someone else, he would say something like, and you think his anger was about the person who was doing the wrong thing. So he was going to join with the other person who was criticizing, go, yeah, what is that? And he was like, what? What? And then he would look at the person who was criticizing, and he would say, who made you the judge of other people? I remember hearing that the first time. I thought, wow, he would get upset with that. Who made you the judge of someone else? Now, where was that coming from? And over time, I started to realize he was really saying to that person, to think like that, you're bringing yourself down. To think like that, you're bringing yourself, just no matter how far back there, how crude, rough, it's okay. They're where they need to be, where they are right now. We sometimes would say, a person, everybody's doing the best they can with where they are and who they are right now. The best they can, where they are and who they are right now. And it may be not to our liking, but hey. So practice is the thing that makes the difference. I shared with people a statement by Maria Montessori not long ago that I think relates to practice. And the Yoga Sutras talks a lot about. The point is two main things on the path: practice and detachment. Do your practice and detach from all of these things that are causing you pain. So we have so much, depression, this, that, and the other these days. The thing that works most powerfully and the best is some level of yoga. I mean, there's some forms of psychology that can help, but to just go into it from the point of view of delving in the pain. Here, I'm going to hold on to my thread, but I'm going to say this because Baba Muktananda would meet not only scientists, but psychologists. And one of the things he would say, when a psychologist once asked him, what is the basic difference between psychology and Siddha Yoga? And he said, the basic difference from them is that psychology arises from suffering, whereas yoga arises from bliss. And again, you're struck by the clarity of that statement. And then he goes on to say, the mind is the source of all suffering. Because we don't understand the nature of the mind, we are ruled by restlessness. We are pulled here and there by its continual cravings. We are tormented by the recurring anxieties and fears that arise in the mind. And this is important. He says, but paradoxically, we cling to our minds with tenacity. Paradoxically, we cling to that mind which is making us suffer. And he goes on to say, we don't want to lose, quote, our mind at any cost. But that is just what the yogis recommend. But you need to understand this really clearly. What yoga is really saying is lose the connection to all of that pain and suffering and do a practice which actually purifies and strengthens the mind. It makes it clear and pristine, and it's not caught in the murkiness of all of those thoughts. So that is the brilliance of the path. And what I was going to say about this quote from Maria Montessori, education, she's a physician too, something about physicians, and an anthropologist, teacher. She said this at one point, everyone talks about peace, but no one teaches peace. In this world, you're educated for competition, and competition is the beginning of every war. When will we educate ourselves for cooperation and how to cooperate and to offer solidarity? That day, we will be educating ourselves for peace. And so underneath these practices of meditation is a way of educating ourselves, turning it around, the revolution in the way we think about who we are. One of the frameworks of understanding that comes in this revolution and these scriptures talk about is there's four things that tends to be there all the time. One of them is the ultimate reality. What is the nature of ultimate reality? So scientists are trying to find the answer to that. And it's an ongoing journey. That's fine. Okay, we hear about all these newfangled things like quantum entanglement, Schrodinger's cat, and all of these things, and they're really leading science forward, but it hasn't been solved quite yet. Okay, on the path of yoga and meditation, they have answers. Different traditions answer in different ways, but the ultimate reality is what we call chitti, or consciousness. And that exists within and resides within everyone as our core. So Muktananda started by saying, meditate on the self. Not somebody else's self, your own self. So going beyond the body, inside, to the mind, emotions, deeper still, to a calm, even state. And if we can penetrate to that deeper state, what do we experience? That inner pulsation, that inner, what he called the inner self. That is the ultimate reality. And everyone can experience that. And as scientists are looking for what happened after the Big Bang manifestation of this world, the scriptures talk about it. They say, yes, Big Bang, there is definitely a parallel. There was a moment where out of that unmanifest energy, this universe was created. Chitti swatantra vishwasiddhi hetuhu. Basically, chitti, that consciousness, is all-powerful, and it can create an entire universe. I won't go into all the details of that. But the question becomes, why don't we experience that? Why don't we just, if that's who we really are, if, as the story goes, and we're recycling here, many of you know the story of the lions and the sheep. And this one lion cub had been lost as a cub. And a group of sheep took him in, raised him, was trying to raise him. He's a lion, but because he's raised by sheep, he identifies with sheep. This pride of lions now was coming up, wanting to do you-know-what to the sheep. And as it's about to attack, the head lion is like, what? Who is that? That's a lion. What is it doing with the sheep? So he comes up to the lion cub who's with the sheep and it's bleeding and, like the sheep, and it says, whoa, what are you doing here? And the lion cub, who's, thinks he's a sheep, is like, he could hardly answer. And the lion says, you're a lion. You should be a lion. You should act like a lion. And the sheep doesn't get it. And the lion cub says, come with me. And he takes him to the stream. And he says, look. And he stands by him and he says, we're the same. Now the sheep is totally confused because he's a lion cub growing up and thinking he's a sheep, and he's like, who am I really? So, see, we go back to that same question again. And the lion says, come with me, and we'll teach you and educate you. And if you think about it, once we just start on the path a bit, that's what the sages and the teachers and the scriptures and the guru are saying to us. Just practice. Just understand who you are. And even if you don't experience it, you are still that. Like I said about the body and the doctors. We don't understand the body as well as the doctor, but it still works the way it's supposed to work. And the sages are saying we are still that truth, even if we don't experience it now. If you practice and maintain the right awareness of who we truly are, at a certain point, it comes together. And we start to actually experience, Because the problem, the bondage, as it were, that we experience is based on ignorance of our true nature. That's the only problem. It's just like that lion cub. The only problem the lion cub had was ignorance of its true nature. So what's the answer? Practice, liberation, and as Muktananda is very fond of saying, and what you get on the path is the recognition of who you truly are. And he would say in programs, people come to intensive, he would say, I give you what you already have. I give you what you already have, because you're already that. But you're just not experiencing that. And so the journey is really what some people have said, a journey of no distance. A journey of no distance. Because we're already that. So we're not going anywhere. We're just maybe stripping off some layers. And if I could dare share a story someone told me yesterday about a deep inner experience. She said, in that deep state where I lost consciousness of my body, there was a voice. And the voice said, strip off your clothes and follow me. And she said, I was like, what? And she's telling me the story. What came to me was kind of a little bit of like this story with the lion cub, the sheep, and all of the scriptural story. It's saying, not so much literally strip, but take off, let go of your wrong understanding and follow the truth. Because that voice is the voice of one's own inner self. So in a way, that's what the journey is about, and that's what meditation helps us to do, to see and experience as we become still that inner truth. And then we align with and walk the path of truth. So, hopefully, there's a thread there for you. One that you can follow that feels, really helpful. And this is my path, whatever that is, however you decide. It always needs to be my path for each of us. And that's yoga and meditation and the revolution. Thank you. Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai.
Vasudev Narayana Hari Bol Rama Krishna Vasudev Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol Narayana Hari Bol Narayana Hari Bol Narayana Hari Bol Hari Bol Rama Krishna Vasudev Narayana Hari Bol Rama Krishna Vasudev Narayana Hari Bol Rama Krishna Vasudev Narayana Hari Bol Rama Krishna Narayana Hari Bol Narayana Hari Bol Narayana Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana
Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva 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 Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana
Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva 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 Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. 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 Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva 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 Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana
Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Narayana Hari Bol. Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol. Rama Krishna
Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Ram Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Ram Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Ram Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Ram Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Ram Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol.
Ram Krishna Vasudeva
Narayana
Hari Bol.
Rama Krishna Vasudeva Narayana Hari Bol. Danya Danya Pradakshina Satguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi Danya Danya Pradakshina Satguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi Aropare apar jalya punya charashi
Paropade apar jalya punya charashi
Aropare apar jalya punya charashi
Paropade apar jalya punya charashi
Savai tirte gadali amar karunikashi Danya Danya Pradakshina Satguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi Danya
Danya Pradakshina Sadguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi
Mridanga Gola Bhakta Bhavarte Gati
Mridanga Dola Bhakta Bhavarate Gati
Mridanga Gola Bhakta Bhavarte Gati
Mridanga Dola Bhakta Bhavarate Gati Nama Sankirtane Brahmanande Nachati
Danya Danya Pradakshina Sadguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi
Danya Danya Pradakshina Sadguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi
Koti Brahma Hatyarthi Karta Dandavata
Koti Brahma Hatya Harti Karta Dandavata
Koti Brahma Hatyarthi Karta Dandavata
Koti Brahma Hatya Harti Karta Dandavata
Lotangana Galita Moksha Lole Khaya Danya Danya Pradakshina Sadguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi
Danya Danya Ho Pradakshina Sadguru Raya Chizale Vara Suravara Vimana Uttara Yachi
Guru Bhajanacha Mahima Nakale Agama Nigamasi
Guru Bhajanacha Mahima Nakale Agama
Nigamasi Guru Bhajanacha Mahima Nakale Agama Nigamasi
Guru Mahima Cha Mahima Nakale Agama Nigamasi
Anubhavate Janati Je Guru Pariche Rai Vasi Danya Danya Pradakshina प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची जाती वर सुरवर विमान उतरायाची धन्य
धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुराया झाले त्वरा सुरवरा विमान उतरायाची
प्रदक्षिणा करणी देह भावे वाहिला
प्रदक्षिणा करुणी देह भावे वाहिला
प्रदक्षिणा करणी देह भावे वाहिला
प्रदक्षिणा करुणी देह भावे वाहिला
श्रीरंगात्मक विठ्ठल पुणे उमारायला धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची जाती वर सुरवर विमान उतरायाची धन्य
धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची जाती वर सुरवर विमान उतरायाची
धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची जाती वर सुरवर विमान उतरायाची
धन्य धन्य हो प्रदक्षिणा सद्गुरुरायाची झाली त्वरा सुरवरा विमान उतरायाची
ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे योगेश्वर हे ज्ञानेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर हे सर्वेश्वर हे परमेश्वर निज कृपा बरसाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए हम बालक तेरे द्वार पे आए मंगल दरस दिखाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव शीश झुकाय करें तेरी आरती शीश झुकाय करें तेरी आरती प्रेमासुरा बरसाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव अंतर में युग युग से सोए अंतर में युग युग से सोए विद्या शक्ति को जगाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव मेरा अंतर तिमिरा मिटाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव साची ज्योत जगे हृदय में साची ज्योत जगे हृदय में सो अमनार जगाव सद्गुरु ज्योतसे ज्योत जगाव tase cho tajakago Jivana muktananda vinashi Jivana muktananda vinashi Charanana sharanana lagavo Sadaguru jo tase jo tajakago
Mera
Antarat mera mitavo Sadaguru jo tase jo tajakago Jo tase jo tajakago Sadaguru jo tase jo tajakago
Mera
Antarat mera mitavo Sadaguru jo tase jo tajakago Tvameva mata cha pita Tvameva Tvameva bandhuscha sakha Tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam Tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Durakaro dukhadarada sabha Daya karo Bhagavan Mana mandira mein ujjwala ho Tera nirmala gyan Jis agar mein ho आरती चरण कमल चितला हरि वासा करे ज्योत अनंत जगाए जहाँ भक्त कीर्तन करे बहे प्रेम दरिया हरि श्रवणा करे सत्यलोक से आए सब कुछ दिया आपने भेंट करूं क्या नाथ नमस्कार की भेंट धरूं जोड़ में दोनों हाथ नमस्कार की भेंट धरूं जोड़ में दोनों हाथ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति 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 सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय
समिद्युवसे वृषन्नग्ने विश्वा निर्या इडस्पदे समिद्यसे सनो वशून्य वर संगच्छध्वं संवदध्वं शम्भो मनांसि जानताम् देवा भागं यथा पूर्वे संजानाना उपासते समानो मन्त्रः समिति समानि समानं मनः सह चित्तमेषाम् समानं मन्त्रमभिमन्त्र एव समानेन वो हविषा जुहोमि समानि व आकूति समान हृदयानि वः समानमस्तु वो मनो यथा वासु सहसति हरिः ओम् ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगो शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापा शान्तिरोषधया शान्ति वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवा शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वगो शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि यतो यतः समीहसे ततो न अभयं कुरु सन्नाः कुरु प्रजाभ्यो भयानः पशुभ्यः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सुशान्तिर्भवतु सर्वारिष्ट सर्वोपद्रव शान्तिरस्तु सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
So this concludes our Sunday morning satsang here today. And what really concludes today's satsang is the occasion of Deepawali, so the Festival of Lights. So just to make sure that everybody knows that on behalf of Shanti Mandir, Walden, and our global community, we all wish everybody an auspicious and joyous Deepawali and also a year ahead. Also, so for our satsang next Sunday, so we will have Kirtan, so that's a little different than what's on the calendar, and Nicheshwari will be speaking the following week, so the week of Thanksgiving, the following Sunday. So that's for all of you who join us locally. And I also want to thank you, Mimi, for you and your group for gracing the ashram with your presence these last few days. It's always lovely to have you here, and we look forward to seeing you again and again and again. And also, I want to close our satsang this morning by just taking a few moments for all of us to know that this satsang here, this will conclude Dipanshu's visit here. He is departing this week, so we send him with all of our love, all of our blessings, all of our warm wishes. He has served this ashram for the last 4 years. India and all the rest of it, that's another story. But here I can speak of him that we were graced to have his company here for these 4 years, and thank him for all of his live stream work, all of his camera work. We are making sure that that will continue seamlessly. So for those of you who do see us through live stream, that will continue. The online intensives, the global intensives with Gurudev will continue. But we wish him very, very well and hope that the next journey for him, the next chapter of his journey, is a joyous one. And so all of you who are here in person today, when you see him down in the dining hall, you can make sure to give him your warm wishes and say, as we say in Hindi, Fir milenge, which means until we meet again. So we don't say bye, and we don't put a period, we leave that comma there. So we're definitely doing that with this one. So we look forward to his journey, but also wherever that takes them, and may it bring him in and out of our weave, in and out of our tapestry here at Shanti Mandir Walden. So with that, everybody is invited to come up for darshan, followed by lunch prasad down at Namaste, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And make sure you all light a lamp or a candle in your homes this evening as it starts to get dark, and enjoy the light that brings to light up our world with more joy, with more peace. And Larry, thank you for your the light that you always bring to the Siddha path for all of us. We look forward to hearing from him and all of our wonderful teachers. And Dana, we know you're out there in Texas. We're all thinking of you. We're all remembering you, and bow to the service that you are offering to your brother. But we look forward to your return. And Gurudev is back in Magod, at Shanti Mandir Magod. And they also did Ramakrishna Vasudev for their morning chant. So I said, okay, we'll do it over here too. They also did a chant of Sabake Liye, but which means that our temple, the space is open to all. So all religions, all faiths, all peoples, all colors, you name it, everything. So as we go forward with our satsang here for the next few months during this winter, just for the local people, just so you know, we will be putting the mats out on the floor, and then everybody can take a seat on any one of those mats. This is to stop the confusion that we're having with the camera and the video camera and where to sit and where not to sit. So wherever you see any one of these orange asanas, you can put your asana on top of it, or you can just sit directly on that. But that's what these are all about, so going forward. And thank you all again for all your love, for your devotion, and the joy of satsang and the seeking that you bring to this space. Thank you all. Sadhguru Maharaj Ki Jai.